everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaley Gray, and I'm making weekly vlogs about life, faith, and relationships. And I'm so excited today to have Tim and Pauline Wheeler from We Are Just Dating on the vlog today. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Yes, so crazy story. I was at the pool this summer listening to some podcasts, and I just started searching dating, and that's how I found y'all. And so just started, listening. And so I'm like, I am going to go see, what else they have. So I checked out their Instagram because you just seemed like such authentic, fun people. And I was kind of like, I want to be their friends, but they live in Maryland. I'm in Oklahoma. So hence why we're doing this on Zoom, but maybe someday I'll make it to the East Coast, or if you want to come down South, we have good guys down here. So, but anyways, you guys have been married for 3 years. And share a little bit too about your ministry, what you guys are doing. They're also proud parents to a little boy.
Yes.
So, and I have to say, your Instagram account, you guys sometimes have some of the best memes on there, and I love it. And encouragement too. You encourage people, but it was so funny. But I just love your vision of what you're doing. So if you want to just take a second and share so that people can follow you guys, because I would love for them to connect with you.
Yes, thank you, Kaley. So we are Tim and Pauline. As she said, we've been married for 3 years, have an awesome baby boy. And our heart for Just Dating is really to help as many dating couples as possible learn how to date in a godly way, but not just a godly way where it's thick and uptight, but where you can have fun, where you can enjoy each other, but where you're reminded that dating is an evaluating stage and you're not just happily going through it. And we named it Just Dating because if you think about it, a lot of times in culture, people say, oh, we're just dating. And it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's a little play on words to say oh, we're just dating. It's not as serious as marriage, but also we're just dating.
We're just talking about dating. Because when we were dating, we were a little frustrated that we felt like there wasn't a lot of material on how to date in a godly way.
Right.
There was a lot of information about marriage. There was a lot of information towards single people.
Yeah.
But what about people that are in this weird space?
How do you get from between the two? Yeah.
Yes. So that's how we birthed this. We started doing a connect group through our church where we help other couples. It started when we were dating and it helped us. And then we kept doing it, and we still do it to this day where we help other dating couples. And the Instagram page and YouTube was birthed out of how can we help more people? Because our connect group is really just for people who are dating. And there's a lot of times single people come up to us and be like, what about us? We want to join your group. And it's that's not a great place for you, but you can definitely learn a lot through the YouTube, through the Instagram. So thank you that you like it. You've been to the beach. We didn't go to the beach. So I'm
I know. I'm sorry. Well, so something you guys used to do on your channel, and I told you I might do this, but you always do a would you rather question. And I babysit a lot, so the little boys that I babysit, they would always ask me would you rather questions, and theirs were crazy, and I was like, how can I sound cool and answer these? But y'all's always crack me up, so I do have a would you rather question if you're ready. Okay. All right. Would you rather be able to talk to animals or speak in a foreign language?
Definitely not talk to animals, have some Dr. Dolittle stuff. That movie was funny, but it kind of creeped me out. He could never escape them. So I would definitely pick speaking a foreign language because, believe it or not, I took AP Spanish, took 6 years of Spanish in high school and have nothing to show for it. So I feel like I need, and then I could travel, not that I can't travel now, but I could talk to the locals. So I'm definitely going to pick speak a foreign language.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too. I don't need to know what the animals say. They don't need to talk to me.
Wow.
I'm good.
Wow.
That is
forget about.
Yeah. That's so funny. That is true, Pauline, that you said how Dr. Dolittle, he always was hearing the animals talk. I didn't even think about that. You wouldn't be able to shut it off.
They definitely were haunting him. Poor guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So funny. Well, back to the vlog. I just had to do that because y'all do that. I thought it was
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
We were hoping you would.
Yes. No, I'm so glad. Okay. So you probably saw by the title that we are talking about when everyone around you but yourself is dating. And what's so funny is when we picked this topic, then right after it, like for the last 2 weeks, I told them I had about 10 friends that I saw on social media or just like friends in real life got into relationships. And I was like, okay, God, like, you know, like you're happy for them and you want to celebrate them and you are so excited, but then you're also like kind of bummed for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys, I don't know, what do you have to say on that? Because I mean, I'm encouraging myself and them, but what would you say to somebody that's kind of feeling that way?
Well, first, I got to say respect to you that you're able to encourage other people while you're still trying to encourage yourself. Like, that's awesome. What I'll say is it's okay to be sad because it's tough. It's tough when you see, it's not just dating, right? We can take it to anything in life. It's tough when you see people getting a new home and you want that. It's tough when you see people getting a new job and you want that. That is tough. And emotions are okay. I think sometimes, especially in the church, you can get a little weird with emotions. We don't really talk about that, but God gave us emotions for a reason. We just have to be mindful not to let emotions be our God. And I think a lot of times that's where we get into trouble. It's like, man, I can't feel sad about this because it means I'm ungrateful. No, it just means this is something you care about and you have to make sure that you put it in your proper place. But it's okay to feel how you feel and then make sure that you're able to pick it up and keep moving. Quick story, Kaley, I remember when I was in high school and I got into college, I got to go to the University of Maryland, and my best friend, he's still my best friend to this day, but we both applied to go to UMD. And I remember I got in and he didn't. Now, let me say this. He was a much better student than I. He did much more internships. I didn't do any internships. He did much better grades, better SAT. Everything was better. But for some reason, I got in and he didn't get in. And I remember when I told him, Kaley, he was trying so hard to not break down in tears and just be sad. And he said, even though it was super somber, he was like, congratulations. Like he was able to still in that moment be happy for his friend because he genuinely was happy, but still at the same time be real and be like, this is tough. And me as a good friend, I realized in that moment, like, I'm not gonna go extra like, like, no, this rub it in his face. I'm not gonna rub it in his face. I get that it's tough. Now, 2 years later, he ended up getting in Maryland and that was great. But
maybe it's because he was happy for you. Or it was a test.
That may be a word.
I don't know.
You may be waiting. And you just need to show others your gratitude. That's something we want to do. When we are believing for something, it's like, okay, how can we serve? How can we sow a seed this season? And not sit around and be jealous, but find a way to help people. Mike Todd, from where you are in Tulsa, he has this whole thing about when you're waiting, it's not just sitting around waiting, all right, God, where are you? But it's waiting. You putting like a towel over your hand like a waiter. It's like, how may I serve you? So that's really good. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, so good. I mean, how do I follow up that?
You got it.
It's okay, I don't have to. But yeah, I think that is so important is to, I love the acknowledgement of your emotions because, like you said, they're not our decision maker and you can't honestly control them, but you can control them coming, but you can control where they go next or your actions. So they don't have to, determine the words that come out of your mouth or the actions that you take, even though you still feel them. But I think it's definitely harder for us women, when we're seeing like our friends with like kind of like the whole story of like always a bridesmaid, never a bride, and like even the movie 27 Dresses, that whole thing, like, okay, like I've sewn, I've supported my friends, like I planned her proposal with her fiance, like I pretty much did all of this, and like, kind of God, like where is mine? And I think you always have to remember, number one, that God is not withholding anything from you. There's a verse that talks about that. There are a couple times in the Bible that says God doesn't withhold anything from those who walk uprightly. He withholds no good thing. And it's just remembering, like, Lord, if this verse is true, which I know it is because it's in your word, even though my situation, it doesn't feel like that. I don't see it with those eyes. If this is true, that means that if it was best for me to be in a relationship right now, that is exactly where I would be. And it might change tomorrow. We have to have that type of hope. The Bible talks about that. Hope is an anchor for our soul. And sometimes we look at our friends and we're like, man, like I'm never going to get a relationship, or I'm never going to get that house, or I'm never going to get this job. And that's not true. The enemy wants to steal our faith. So if you guard your faith, guard your hope, and you can say, man, I wish that I had, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or I wish that I was being married or whatever. I wish that I was getting the ring. And if you remember that, God's not withholding anything from you, that he's good and that he loves you and he's for you and he's protecting you, then you can kind of take a little bit more of a breather and remember, like your time is coming. I know for me, whenever I see friends, because this happens to us, we're only been married 3 years, we have a baby, we're believing to get a house, but it's not something that you want to move around, kind of haphazardly, just kind of jump in the first opportunity that you see. The same thing, you don't want to just find anybody on the internet and marry them. You want to make sure that it's a quality, God's best for you. But whenever we see, a friend who buys a house, we always say, okay, Lord, you did it for them, you can do it for us. We serve the same God. So in a way, it can be encouraging, because it can be kind of discouraging if you look around and you're like, dang, none of my friends are married. Am I in good company? Like, am I kind of in the right kind of location? Like, it's a good thing to be around people who have what you want or who are where you want to be, because you can learn from them, knowing that, like, okay, my time is going to come. So you have to flip it and like teach yourself how to make it an encouraging season when it's around you.
I love that. That's so good. I always say, like, if you can't celebrate others, then you don't deserve to be celebrated. So if you can't celebrate somebody in a season that you want to be in, then, you're maybe not ready to be in that next season. So this question is I'm going to ask Tim, because I don't always have a lot of guys on the channel. So a guy's perspective, like, do you feel pressure from your bros, like when they're all getting in back to your single self, not now, but like when your bros are all getting into a relationship and things like that, do guys feel that pressure that, like, oh man, like I need to get into a relationship, or are you cool just like hanging by yourself, or if they're all getting engaged? I always guys think so differently, and I don't even try to understand how y'all think. So I'm like, because I know as a girl, like, we feel that pressure. You're like, oh, all my friends are getting into relationships, like I need to like get into a relationship so we can double date and do things. But do guys feel that way?
Yeah, great question. I'll say it depends. So probably most guys, no, they're not going to feel that pressure. But there are some guys that I know, and myself included, when I was single, you want to be in a relationship. So it's like, man, am I ever going to find, it's not so much will I ever be in a relationship, because I feel like as a guy, it seems like you have a little more control over it, in the sense that you can go ask, you won't look crazy. But there's some guys like, man, will I ever find the right woman? But there's a lot of guys who, for whatever reason, they aren't really pressed to start dating. They're kind of okay in the season they are, or they're trying to build, their income, or they're trying to work on this and work on that. So they're kind of content not dating. So honestly, I think it depends on the guy and what they value and what they're looking for.
That's good. I like that. Okay. Did you ever, like, in your single season, when other people are around you guys, did you guys ever think that something was wrong with you? Or have you ever, like, met with people? Because I mean, there's times that I've felt that way, especially like, if you're on the dating apps and then like you like them and they don't like you back, and you're like, why don't you like me? Sort of thing. So, do you have anything that you would want to share on that? Like, what's wrong with me? Because so many people have that doubt. They question that in their mind. Like, and so I know it's a lie from the enemy, but what can you say to encourage somebody that might be feeling that way?
I think this is so funny, because the first thing I thought about with this question is, there's something wrong with everybody.
So true.
And maybe it's easier for me to say that because I am married, but I think, like, just the more that I grow, and like, there's people who are single who are the best, and they're like, what's wrong with me? Like, once I fix X, Y, and Z, then maybe I'll be like ready for marriage and God will bring my spouse. And then I'm like, but there's so many people who are married who are jacked up. And like, there's no kind of like oh, so that's why you're married.
There's no
I get
formula.
it. Yeah, there's no like kind of reason. Just like you're a married person and you're a single person. Like it doesn't mean you're any more wise, you're any more godly, you're any more healthy, or any more whatever, insert blank, because you're married. It simply just makes you a married person. And there's so many married people, unfortunately, who want to be single, and like, vice versa. And, that's, our heart is when people date better, date healthy, that you would be and build a marriage that you want to stay in forever. The idea is not that you just rush and get a ring and fly down the aisle just to say you did it, because you look up in a couple of years and like, are you going to want to still be there? And that's very much, I think, something people don't talk about and contributes to the high divorce rate in and outside of the church. But so all that to say, if you think there's something wrong with you, I would say you're right, because there's something wrong with all of us. And that's, we thank God for his son, Jesus. That's why we all need a savior. If we all were perfect, we wouldn't need the Lord. But if you are aware of your weaknesses, that's awesome. Like allow the Lord to fill your gaps and community and all those things. I don't think that that's necessarily the lies, that there's something wrong with you and that's why you're not married. I think that, no, you should know the truth. And the truth is that what is wrong with you is not keeping you from God's best. Because, the Bible says that there's nothing that can separate us from the love of God. And the type of love that hopefully everybody that's watching this wants is the love that is, from the Lord in your marriage. And there's nothing keeping you from God's love at all, as we talked about previously. So don't beat yourself up. The enemy, that's what he wants to do, is to steal your confidence and make you go into a hole and like get depressed and say about yourself, like, oh, no one wants to marry me because XYZ things are wrong with me. And I used to do that. I remember I struggled with the confidence a lot in middle school. I used to literally keep a list of like, this is why nobody wants to like date me or be with me or whatever. And it was like, a lot of those things, are still present to this day. I'm too tall, I'm too big, I'm too this, I'm too that. And like, I'm still married, you know what I mean? So it's not
yes,
really.
you is, girl. Yes, you is.
Oh
girl.
my gosh. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with you at all. In that sense, when it comes to getting married. And I think that it's a good thing to accept and love yourself, because when you do get married, you're going to learn that there's a lot of things wrong with your spouse. And if you don't love them and cover them the same way you love yourself, it's going to be really difficult to have a joy-filled marriage. And the Bible talks about us loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. So now you have the opportunity to work on the loving yourself part so that you can love your spouse better.
Yeah, that was good.
That was
good. That was good.
I just was like, I can see, like, thank you, God, for connecting us, because I'm like, just like spitting fire. Like, I'm just like, this is amazing. I love this. Wow. Well, to wrap up today's vlog, is there anything that you guys just have on your hearts that you want to share to singles or those dating and stuff like that, or before we wrap up?
Yeah, and it kind of ties into everything that we've been talking about. And I just really think that we all have to learn, myself included, it's all a journey, but we have to learn to really trust God.
Yeah.
We have to learn to really trust God. And what I mean by that is reminding ourselves that his word is true. And like Pauline's been saying all day, God will not withhold anything good from us. And God has no favorites, though his Bible, the word says
we're
that.
all his favorites.
Yeah, so I think when we realize that we can trust God, it's a lot easier to swallow the pill of I don't have what I want yet. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, okay, if I don't have it yet, that must mean it's not time yet. Yeah. I can think back clearly to a year and a half ago when I was looking for a new job. Yeah. And it was like a 2-3 year period where I was really looking for a new job. I really wanted to get out of the job I was in. I was applying to every job, getting declined by every job. I honestly started asking myself, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And I really thought, like, do I not know how to interview? Do I not know the right people? And it came to a point where I was like, God, I trust you. Clearly, since every door is closing and I've gone and done mock interviews with people and they told me nothing's wrong, clearly you want me here in this role.
Yeah.
So if you want me in the season that I'm in, show me how to embrace it to the fullest, to learn what I need to learn in this season. And then I trust that you'll take me out of the season. And I just hope that whoever's listening to this, you'll find a place of contentment in whatever season you're in, whether it's singleness, whether it's waiting for a new job, no matter what it is, you'll come to a season of contentment and surrender. Yeah. Because remember, God has better plans for us than we do. But I think a lot of times we don't really believe that. We believe our plans. We're trying to coach God and tell him what to do. Yes, our plans are better. Yeah. God knows everything. See, I'm starting to get on a rabbit trail, but I'm getting excited, Kaley. The thing about God is he's not just thinking about what will be good for Tim next month, what will be good for Tim next year. He's playing chess. We're trying to play checkers. He's looking 10 years from now. Yes. He's looking 10 years from now. If Tim got this job, how would this affect his destiny? Yeah. How would this affect him meeting this person who could teach him this, which could help him get here, which could help him do that? Yeah. So it's not just that I'm single, it's that I am not necessarily ready for whatever God has for me, or the person I'm waiting for has not come of age yet. They're not ready. They're still learning, they're still developing. And that's the great thing about God, is he'll bring the person you're waiting for at the right time, because the right thing at the wrong time is a bad thing. Yeah. So we have to trust God and trust that if it's not here yet, it's for a reason, and it's a good reason.
So good.
That is so good. And I love how you guys said withhold, like God does not withhold that. And I think so many singles, or even if you're dating and your, relationship isn't going towards engagement as fast as you want, a lot of times we can feel like, we're being set back or we're being withheld from something. And we do that was a good reminder for myself, is like, God does not withhold anything. And so I absolutely loved having you guys on here. Thank you so much just for encouraging all of my viewers, and be sure to subscribe to their podcast, their YouTube channel, and follow them on Instagram, and, stay connected here with me. And, I hope we stay connected. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a part 2 of this.
Absolutely.
Yes, we'd love to. Kaley, we appreciate you. This was fun. This was great. And hopefully it encouraged somebody watching.
Amen. Well, I hope you guys have a great Friday, and I will see you next week.